Ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between, welcome to a brand new episode of the WrestleClub UK podcast. And this week we have got a very special episode because it is October in the UK. That means it is Black History Month.
Yeah.
And this week I have been joined by one half of the Fluffy Boys, Ibs.
Come on.
And we are going to be obviously just doing a rundown of Black history within professional wrestling. For those of you who don't really understand, Black history in professional wrestling reflects a journey of perseverance, resistance against systematic racism, and the rise of cultural icons. While the sport was slow to offer equal opportunities, Black wrestlers have shattered barriers, challenged stereotypes, and built lasting legacies. So we're going to be discussing some of those legacies today in this episode. And I think basically, for me, I didn't really obviously know much about pre-1980s wrestlers in the situation. When I was doing my research, we have to apparently give a shout out to Bobo Brazil.
Yeah. First guy to win Intercontinental title.
I believe he first guy to win. He was the first Black wrestler to compete regularly against white wrestlers in major promotions, debuting in 1950s.
Mm-hmm.
In the 1950s, oh my God! And especially in that time where it was the racial divide.
Yeah, mad.
He even won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship
a world title, yeah,
in 1962, even though the victory was disputed due to his race. And he's basically the pioneer of Black wrestlers. And then if we move into the 1970s and 80s, we have the rise of Black superstars. Ernie Ladd, aka known as the Black Cat, was a former professional wrestler, professional football player who became a wrestling star. 6'9", he often played the villain because of the height, and was one of the first Black wrestlers to embrace such a role. He was a trailblazer behind the scenes, advocating for more opportunities for Black wrestlers, standing up against racism. We also have Junkyard Dog, one of the most beloved figures in the 1980s, again breaking racial boundaries, especially in southern territories.
Because I think they must have had it a lot, like 10 times harder, because obviously doing a lot of wrestling as heartlands are in the southern states of America. So imagine dealing with that, walking into the ring trying to be a heel when you're getting hurled like racist abuse and all of that. So like shout out to those pioneers who did it. Have you got to Ron the Truth Ron
well,
Simmons
this is coming
yet?
up next. So the 1990s, which is obviously the era that I really embraced wrestling. One of the first matches I saw was the Acolytes.
Ah, yes.
Which features Ron Simmons and obviously Bradshaw. At the time, he was just called Bradshaw. He wasn't doing the jam much. It wasn't until like later on. Obviously, Ron Simmons, pioneer. I feel like in the 90s, Black wrestlers were breaking through even bigger boundaries and bigger walls, becoming world champions. Ron Simmons made history as he was first officially recognized as the first Black world champion in a major promotion when he won the WCW World Heavyweight Championship.
Have you seen the moment when he wins it?
I have. It's
really good. Like you get like goosebumps, and now when you look back at it, like looking at it from the archive, you're like, no, like everyone was actually happy for him, and I think, as well as him being a Black wrestler who deserved it, I feel like overall he was a very good guy who helps loads of people. And you can see that more in moments like maybe 2010, where if someone that everyone really liked would let people come in the ring and they would lift the title as well. Yeah. And that having that as his first moment is like really big.
Well, also like in the 1990s, especially towards the end, obviously towards the Attitude Era, we did have like the Whole Train.
Yeah. The Whole
Which
Train.
I feel, when I watched it, I enjoyed the Whole Train. Yeah. I was like, I want to be a member of the Whole Train. And I didn't even realize what it was really about, to be honest with you.
See, you know what, WWE, the Attitude Era, made us have so many random awkward conversations with our parents that we're not ready to have with us. Therefore, that's why I know a lot of people who stopped watching wrestling like during those times, because like imagine, Mom, I want to be on the Whole Train. What?
Well, The Godfather was if you look back at The Godfather now, in this day and age, obviously he was portrayed as a pimp.
Yeah.
Which is not a great stereotype for a black person.
Okay. Yeah, okay, right. So, yes, you are correct. And it would never make TV now. However, like in a time where it was very hard to get over, everyone had to get over by themselves. You're dealing with all the other things with WCW as well. The fact that Papa Shango, who was a second thought, became one of the most top mid-carders through doing that. You've got to shout that out. So you've got to shout out, I forget the wrestler's real name for the life of me, but you've got to shout out the Godfather's like work ethic to get to where he got to. Yeah, and it works because it's very easy for him to be like he could have said it in a different way and it wouldn't have worked. That gimmick could have been like one of those ones where it could have been dead on arrival. Yeah. Because it worked at the time, and in that time, in that period of time during the Attitude Era, was sex sales and so on and so forth.
Because as soon as that music came on, everyone was like, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To this day, you'd hear that.
I think also we have to, if you're talking about the 90s, it was like the rise of D'Lo Brown, The Rock, obviously, Mark Henry. Obviously, we did mention about Farouk, aka Ron Simmons, and they all came together to create the Nation of Domination, which was a WWE faction which ran for 2 years, which actually is a long time.
Which in especially with the tensions in the 90s with like your Rodney Kings, your OJs, and all these different like the hate on gangster rap, like, and like the films like the Malcolm X movie came in. There was a lot of like tension, but a lot of learning from like American culture, learning about what black people struggle with. I think what America have got down is like everyone knows the struggle. Yeah. As i.e. like not necessarily like here in the UK we don't know the struggle, but in America the stories have been told throughout history, and like so it's easier and it's less, you can have those conversations about why this is not happening. Yeah, they're still going to be as hard, but they're easier to set, unlike here. So that's why the Nation was a perfect way to get that in. And even though they were considered heels, I think a lot of people were like, this is cool. Yeah, because obviously it was based off the Nation of Islam. Yeah. And obviously Black Power movements. If we talk like, we're talking about like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, that kind of vibe. It was based off those. And to have like such prominent people within WWE talk about certain things, to have dashikis on in a day where it wasn't really known in America was powerful to see. And also it kind of gave them the voice. They were able to talk, they were able to have a mic, and obviously The Rock, the famous Rock, Rocky Die, The Rock kind of classes that movement or that section of his like career as his starting point of the rise of The Rock, because he was able to like be on a mic, show his talents, to show everyone that he can actually talk as well as just wrestle. But also we need to give a special shout out to D'Lo Brown. D'Lo Brown's the man. The head. D'Lo Brown, like the head movement. One of my first enters into WWE was watching a D'Lo Brown match. So I like, Mark Henry, even though like Mark Henry at the start, we didn't get it. Sexual chocolate. Like the way that sexual, like, because the Godfather thing could have become sexual chocolate like that, but the whole train worked. Sexual chocolate works less. Yeah. But from Salmon Suit onwards, Mark Henry was a man. Yeah. I think also at that time, Viscera. Yeah. Being such a big man as well. Like he was bigger than Mark Henry, being such a big man, but obviously joining one of my favorite factions. The Demonic Dons. Yeah. Ministry of Darkness. Yeah. I'm trying to think of, is there any more like Attitude Era black wrestlers that we've missed? Well, the one I want to give a shout out to is a woman. Yes. Are you going to say Jacqueline? Jacqueline. Yeah. You have to give a shout out to Jacqueline. We saw it recently at Blood. Yeah, still looks good. Black don't crack. Yeah, come on. Jacqueline was, for me, one of the first women I saw who was a wrestler. Yeah. Who, even though she was hot, and like obviously in that, especially in that
era. Was everyone was the fake boobs, and like the body and whatever. She was still a wrestler. Her, Ivy, like that kind of.
Also, Jazz, who was towards the end of the Attitude Era, moving Ruthless Aggression, she was another one who could wrestle. Like, and it was very rare to see actual females who wrestled in the 90s.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it. Yeah, they would always end up descending into bra and pantry matches, sadly.
I know.
But yeah, Jacqueline is someone that should be shouted at. And thank God she's got her. Is she a Hall of Famer? Yeah, she's a Hall of Famer now. But like, yeah, she seemed like someone who didn't get their flowers, who should have got their flowers immediately. And now they've got them, thank goodness. But yeah. But then we've got to look at also, we've talked about WWE. Let's go over to WCW.
Go on. So now you want to give a shout.
I want to talk about my man, Mr. Wiggle, Norman Smiley.
I know.
Oh, listen, because I started off watching wrestling like via WCW, and like I think Norman Smiley was the first black man I saw wrestle, and I was just like, and I remember what blew my mind, because I saw him do a promo. He was walking into the ring, and I think they dubbed him from Liverpool, England. I was like, what? Like, and I thought for a while that Scousers sounded American because of Norman Smiley. Like, so yeah, love Norman Smiley. Got to talk about Harlem Heat.
Oh yeah.
And the greatest promo ever. And Hulk Hogan, we're coming for you, nigga. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to say. Hey, listen, it's Black History Month. I'm kind of allowed.
Yeah.
You can bleep that. No, don't bleep it. It's our month. But yeah, no, that's still one of my favorite promos. I heard it in a rap song the other day.
Oh, really?
Someone put it in a rap song.
Well, talking about obviously Harlem Heat, even into the 2000s was obviously the continuation of black wrestlers gaining prominence within WWE and other major promotions. We did have racial ties appear within storylines.
Yeah.
And notably, this one does involve Booker T, because obviously the 2000s WWE had bought WCW, and some of their wrestlers had moved over into WWE in terms of the Invasion storyline. And obviously WWE had its main card roster. Booker T was main card roster on WCW. You move into a company that was kind of like your rival.
Yeah. The Ops.
Yeah. You're now the Ops.
Yeah.
And I think we all notably know about...
Is it 23 seconds or however it took for him to do that pin at WrestleMania 19? The biggest bullshits of bullshits ever.
Against Triple H.
To this day, like, until Triple H cut his hair, I was like, nah, you're low-key a bit racist. like I did every time I see him in a suit, I'm like, you're the same guy. You're Macbeth. I hate you.
You're Macbeth.
He is Macbeth. And I'll keep pushing this issue. Triple H is Macbeth. But since he cut his hair, I've been less angry about it.
Yeah.
But still, to this day, man. And the fact that we didn't get a big Booker T WWE title run.
Well, we had
him. He won the world title. He won the world heavyweight.
Well, he's a five-time.
I think he's 6 or 7.
Five-time
WCW
WCW World Heavyweight Champion.
Yes. Last WCW champion as well.
Yeah. After the demise, he transitioned into WWE, where he won multiple championships and eventually became King Booker.
King Booker. And also, we need to never forget his wife. Yeah, his wife. His wife, Charmel, and also his work in TNA, where he had one of the most questionable African accents I've ever heard. Yeah. Like, I felt attacked, but also I couldn't be mad as Booker T. And never forget where he commentated him beating someone down in TNA.
Yeah.
Booker T's TNA work. He caught me at a good time where mum wouldn't pay for Sky because she caught me watching a live sex show. Shout out Edge and Lita. And so Booker T came to my life in NXT. Not NXT. I keep saying NXT because he's on NXT. But yeah, I've got so much time for Booker T.
Well, even we're talking about NXT, he obviously is one of the commentators on NXT, and I feel like he's also like one of the big leaders backstage. And I think his charisma, his style. Yeah. Let's talk about Spinneroonie.
Yeah. Oh.
Him trying to get the Undertaker to do Spinneroonie is probably one of my favorite moments in the world.
Yeah. No.
And then also like him Stone Cold in the supermarket.
Yeah, probably the greatest non-in-ring like segment ever. Him on the like the aisle, and he folds himself into the listen, Yeah, shout out Booker T, man.
Booker T.
And he's still doing it, still bringing wrestlers up to this day. Like, it's like I said, it was a while. I felt personally a lot of black wrestlers didn't get the flowers that they deserved, and thank goodness for like society and the ways things are changing slowly but surely that they're getting the love they deserve. We also need to remember, if we're talking like mid 2000s or pushing towards 2000s wrestlers, we need to talk about the man who was in the world's greatest tag team. We need to talk about Shelton Benjamin, the gold standard.
We need to talk about the gold standard. Shelton Benjamin was someone who, for me, was pure wrestling.
Yeah.
Pure wrestling. For me, the first black person to be like pure wrestling. Yeah. May not be good on the mic, but in the ring.
As we've seen recently on AEW, but yeah. Okay. Hey. Thank God for his mouthpiece.
Well,
he was another brother we need to talk about, MVP. But let's finish off Shelton. Obviously, the super kick that he got from Shawn Michaels is probably one of the best moments during that era.
Yeah.
Just so athletic. So helped out Brock Lesnar. Still in the game to this day. Shame he didn't get a world title run. That's it.
Yeah.
But you kind of understand the talent that he was rocking with during that time, where they were absolute killers throughout the whole roster.
I'm intrigued to see what he's going to do in AEW, but I think obviously like titles career wise, I think like you can see him getting an ROH world title. Yeah, if anything. But I do feel Shelton was a pioneer of like pure wrestling, especially with him teaming up with Kurt Angle, Chad Gable. Chad Gable?
Charlie Haas.
Thank you so much.
It's Chad Gable now.
That's what I was like. It's Chad Gable.
Yeah.
But also, I think at this time in the 2000s, Mark Henry became his own, became the world's strongest man.
Salmon suit Mark.
Yeah, came out, became world heavyweight champion in 2011.
Yeah.
His Hall of Pain persona, which I completely forgot until I was doing my research about this, dominated opponents with brutal force, gave him one of the most memorable runs of his career. And then he was inducted in Hall of Fame in 2018.
As he should be.
I think also like his work outside of WWE, becoming the world's strongest man, was like helpful towards him as well. I think it made him feel more legitimate rather than just being a big man. Because like there's quite a few big men you can throw around, but like him being strong.
He was a strong man. You wasn't going to see him on top of the rope, but you knew when Mark Henry was in the ring, you knew it was going to be a brutal big men slapping meat sort of exchange. And also, if it wasn't for Mark, we wouldn't have Jade Cargill on TV because Mark discovered her. Also, is it the story of, I think it's Samantha Irvin as well, had to interaction with Mark Henry in order for that to happen. And those guys are big people on TV now, big black leaders who we love and we cherish. Really Let's not talk about my love for Samantha Irvin. He was a fantastic black pioneer. God bless you and your beautiful voice. And the other lady on SmackDown as well. There's two black announcers on SmackDown. No, on WWE. One's on Raw, one's on SmackDown.
Yeah.
I was like, what happened to that other white dude? But listen,
you've gone back to NXT.
Yeah, in our month, let that happen, you know.
Well, moving into the 2010s, it is obviously the modern era.
Oh, sorry. No. We haven't mentioned something. Yes, we could talk about him through these decades, but I think we need to start now that during the early 2000s was the start of one Ron the Truth Killings. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
First NWA World Champion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And TNA. Changed his life around from being a backup dancer and considering again a rapper and being Tupac's mate to becoming like one of the most entertaining wrestlers. And the thing is, Truth has always been entertaining. Like always, even when he was like the crazy deranged person, less so Little Jimmy, more TNA, with when he was like feuding with Jeff Jarrett and so on and so forth. Yeah, but Truth, it's good that now he's seen his flowers while he's still a competitor in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Because it would have been a damn shame if he retired and then 10 years later we'd have been like, oh yeah, the streets would never forget our Truth.
I also am going to give a shout out because I completely forgot about New Jack.
Yeah. Oh, mate.
You can't talk about especially extreme wrestling if we're not talking about New Jack, R.I.P. New Jack, who passed away in 2021. But the things he would do in the ring, outside the ring, with his body. Oh, crazy. Oh, no, there was some controversy around some of the things that he did outside of the ring included. But my God, did he...
And also his heel work in Smoky Mountain, where they are actively like racist. They were actively being racist to him. And he decided, you know what? I'm going to be a heel. But like, what's really funny is in any other circumstances, he wouldn't have been a heel. It's because he was like fighting at racist Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He's like, you know what? Let's lean into this.
Yeah.
We need to make money. And the promo where he shouts out OJ Simpson, wild.
Wow, crazy.
Like, he shouts out OJ. It's like, keep on doing the good work, OJ. Like, what?
Crazy.
In a conservative racist room. What? like that's brave. That took a lot of cocaine.
Yeah.
That took a lot of cocaine for you to be like, yeah, I'm gonna do that shit. So,
well, moving into the modern era, if you want to put it that, the 2010s, it became an era, if you want to call it, for equality, diversity, and representation. I think we can't talk about 2010 without
Orlando Jordan.
Yeah.
No, please, let's not. Orlando Jordan is the low light. I'm sorry. We are talking about Black history. We've got to talk about the bad stuff sometimes. And Orlando Jordan in the cabinet wasn't a fan. I didn't like your hair. I didn't like your trunks. I didn't even like your music. Like, you always lost to Chris Benoit. And then, man, like, listen, Orlando Jordan, rubbish. Please continue.
Well, I was going to go with a highlight. And that highlight was going to be Kofi Kingston.
Yeah,
I think Kofi Kingston's journey obviously he started off with his fake Jamaican accent.
Yeah.
But to the top of the WWE represents one of the most significant moments in Black history wrestling in 2019. After years of being mid-card, we had Kofi Mania winning his WWE championship.
Before we get to Kofi Mania, I'll give you another reason why I thought Triple H was racist. Why did Triple H have to put him out in the street like he was Jamaican?
I know.
We didn't have to do that, Triple H.
We didn't have to do it. He wasn't even born.
Hannah, listen, you are on, mid-2000s to you cutting your hair. I don't know about you, bro. I'm not going to lie. You were enemy of progress. You were a low light for Black people, like watching wrestling during your reign of terror. Triple H, eyes. Yeah, I like how you're promoting Black people now because you know what you did was dirty.
Because he wasn't even born in Jamaica, he was born in Ghana.
Yeah.
You gave him a fake accent, but Kofi Mania was amazing, winning his WWE championship at WrestleMania 35, becoming the first African-born WWE champion. And let's not talk about how he lost it.
Yeah.
But but even the things that he did within like Royal Rumble, pioneering certain moves, spots, becoming a fixture and moving from mid-card into that WWE and having the fans behind him.
Kofi was the first. I feel like Kofi was one of the first cruiserweights that wasn't Rey Mysterio that like people actually cared about.
Yeah.
And obviously, like with the New Day, we'll get to them in a minute. But I remember I cried watching Kofi win the title.
Oh.
But maybe I was a bit stoned. But listen, I did cry when he watched it. I thought that was one of those moments where, like, if I was like 15 years younger and I saw that, I'd be like, yo, I'm a pro wrestler now. Like, real talk. Like, I think that's one of the, to this day, I think that's my favorite WrestleMania moment.
Oh.
That, and then maybe The Rock and Hogan doing the little turn, that. Yeah. But yeah, Kofi winning it, grabbing his kids, Xavier and Big E giving him the hug.
Yeah, we can't talk about Kofi Kingston without talking about the New Day.
Yeah.
They're coming up to 10 years now. I'm really sad they're going to split up. It looks like they're splitting up. But like the New Day, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Big E.
Yeah.
Started off preachers and then turning into this, the life of the show.
Yeah.
Booty-O's, merch, hosting WrestleMania. Do you remember that WrestleMania moment where they were like, are we gonna be in the tag team ladder match? No, it's
the yeah.
Probably one of the greatest tag teams ever within WWE or just in history, I would say.
And do you know what I think? The great thing about the New Day, it was the first time, where obviously I do consider myself a goofy. Who? I do consider myself a goofy black dude. Yeah, and you never really saw goofy black dudes on TV.
No,
because it was seen as like, on one hand, I do get it. You didn't want to be seen as a caricature or like see someone as a caricature on TV because that would make you feel some type of way. But it was the first time where you knew it was like they were unashamedly themselves.
Yeah.
And we never had characters like that until the New Day pulled up.
They did a promo. They were doing a promo against Kevin Owens whilst they were in the ring, and like Sami Zayn had come out and joined Kevin Owens. And this was probably like 4 years ago, but it was probably my favorite promo ever. They were so funny. They're funny. They're hilarious. They're also athletic. We also can't talk about, if we're talking about 2010s, Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, Bobby Lashley.
Amazing.
With MVP and the Hurt Business.
Oh, the Hurt Business. We're moving into 2020s now.
I know. Let's stay in 2010 because that's like, cool. Okay.
We move into 2020s because we have got Bobby Lashley talking about becoming a dominant champion within 2021 and representing a big push for black athletes in his role.
But also we've got to have a quick shout out to when Bobby Lashley was doing his thing in WWE. We had Monty the Pounce Brown in TNA. Who was just electric. He just covered pounds. There's like, and then obviously there's going to be loads of people we've missed out, which we are eternally sorry for. Yeah. But like, if we're going back to the 2020s, sorry.
I was going to say, we have to talk about Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks at WrestleMania 37 in 2021, where they became the first two black women to main event a WrestleMania.
And like,
I think in terms of like the match itself, I think you could see how far it's a testament how far wrestling has come in terms of black representation, especially for black women, and especially Bianca's rise from winning Royal Rumble into headlining WrestleMania.
And then also you've got to think about your Sasha Banks, her pioneered into women's wrestling. Monet. And then you've got Naomi. You've got Bianca now. You've got Jade.
Alicia Fox. We have to give a shout out.
Oh yeah. Alicia Fox. Shout out.
Even though the hair was not doing things. Oh,
listen.
The hair things were not doing things. But you know what? Pioneer.
You just know that there was no one who looked like Alicia who was doing her hair during them times. Yeah. Very clear.
I think these people that we're talking about have been staple, and the spirit and efforts of putting black talent into the spotlight has given people opportunities such as Jade Cargill. So we talk about Swerve Strickland a lot, having the best year of his life. Even Powerhouse Hobbs. Yeah. We've got up and coming stars now coming up in wrestling, even that we see in the UK, like Doris. Yeah. Oh my God, Doris.
Michael as well.
Michael Oku. It's amazing to see these people having the opportunities that they have now, and it wouldn't be if it wasn't for the people that have pioneered them.
And also we can't forget the non-wrestlers who we saw in canon, like Teddy Long.
Oh, Teddy Long! Making everything a tag team.
With the Undertaker! With the worst dance ever. Like, now I'm not gonna lie, you took us a few steps back with that dance. I'm not gonna lie, Teddy. Teddy, we know black people can dance better than that, and the way you were dancing was not great. I'm not gonna lie. But apart from that, my first GM I actually cared about. All the other GMs, I was like, you're just making noise. We knew when you came, the energy shit was about to pop off. Yeah. Also, like Jonathan Coachman. Yeah. Coachman and The Rock segments were always entertainment. I like Byron Saxon. Byron Saxon gets a bad rap, but it's good to see like people like us on TV. And long may it continue, man.
And obviously you talked about your girl.
My girl.
On her ring announcing skills.
Oh, listen, Samantha Irvin. Hey, she's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's so refreshing to see now more than ever. Like before, where it was very rare to see a black person of prominence on WWE canon or in any wrestling canon. And it was like that one person we had to cling on, so it didn't matter if we thought they were good or not. You were like, nah, that's our guy. But now we can actually critique. Say we prefer this person, we prefer that person. At the end of the day, we do want them to win and like progress and be successful in their lives, just like we want every black person in the world to be. But apart from Diddy, but like
Apart from Diddy.
Also, we need to shout out our favourite part-time black wrestler, Snoop Dogg.
Who is in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Snoop done a lot. Like, but no, it's so nice to see that, like, now more than ever, that like there are black people like all over wrestling, in all these different places, where before it was a novelty. Like now it's fairly novel to see black wrestlers in New Japan. Before it was like Bob Sapp, who was not a wrestler.
Yeah.
Who was a man looking for a big man who was looking for money. Whereas like now it's the world. If you're a wrestler, I think now more than ever, you like, it doesn't matter what you look like, you can be a wrestler.
Yeah.
And if you've got the talent, it can
Yeah, even talking about Willow earlier.
Yeah, Willow Nightingale as well. Athena.
Oh, Athena,
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like,
because I think even after, I don't know if you saw the conference after Bad Blood, someone asked Triple H about diversity representation within WWE, and he kind of was like, I don't see race. And I was like, oh, Triple H. I was like, dude, Triple H
is still playing the game.
and I was like, Triple H. Oh, he was just like, if they work hard, if they've got the talent, I don't see reason. I was just like, Triple H,
okay, cool. Triple H, don't do that.
Let's not do that. Because Black history in wrestling is a story of breaking boundaries, challenging racism, and achieving greatness in an industry that has not always been welcoming. Today, wrestlers are celebrated not just for their race, but for their excellence, creativity, and contributions to wrestling's ongoing evolution. And shall it continue?
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed our little black history section, sorry. If you have any thoughts, if you disagree with some of the things that we said in terms of like people that we've not mentioned potentially, please do let us know. We want to hear your thoughts. What are your favorite moments within black history, within wrestling? We want to hear them.
Is the boogeyman black?
Oh my God!
Yeah! It's the boogeyman black!
How can we forget the boogeyman?
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you. Which was horrifying as a child, but also you get it now.
Yeah.
You get it. Shout out the boogeyman.
Shout out the boogeyman.
Or else he's coming to get you. Sorry, that was...
And that's how we ended the section.
Yeah, that's how it ended.
The podcast.